Hi guys, I am Emily Longretta. I am the host of Conversations with Cass. I am the senior entertainment editor at Us Weekly, and I am so excited about tonight's episode. Thank you all so much for watching. We're doing this 3 times a week, and tonight we are talking to Nick Gehlfuss from Chicago Med. I'm going to be taking your questions, so make sure you send them in the comments, send them in the question box. I will do my best to get through all of them. Hello to everyone joining. We have a very exciting guest this week. I'm really excited to have him join. I know a lot of you are big fans of Will Halstead, just as I am. So hopefully he will be on here soon. Let me just check in and see if he has joined. Think. Make sure to start sending your questions so we can get through as many as possible, because I know you guys have a lot to talk to him about. Hello!
Eureka! Can you hear me all right?
I can. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks so much for joining. I like your setup.
Yeah, this is kind of it's the only interesting wallpaper I have in my place.
That's fine. I'm in a corner. It's totally cool.
Are you in your home?
I am. Yes, I'm actually in my parents' home, so it's nice. I'm spending some time here. Where are you quarantined?
Oh, that's great. I'm in Chicago.
You are. Are you with your family or by yourself?
I'm with my wife and 2 dogs.
Nice.
That's my immediate family.
Yes, that's the most important.
Yeah.
That's great. How has it been for you being in quarantine?
You know, it's up and down.
Yeah.
For sure. It is. It's challenging, but I do feel privileged in certain aspects. I am, creating governs my happiness, and so just trying to figure out ways of staying creative.
Yeah.
It's not the sole creator of my happiness. It plays a heavy hand, I should say.
Of course. For sure.
The light is flickering. I don't know what that means. Hold on, let me twist this bulb. Ow, that hurt. Okay. Sorry. There's usually lighting people on the set to do this for me.
Right, exactly. Oh, I had my dad fixing the curtains behind me earlier. He's my designer here, so it works out.
That's funny. That's great.
Okay, so I want to get to some fan questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
We have so many questions here. A couple people have asked if you have a favorite episode that you filmed so far. I know there's been a lot. If it's possible to think of a favorite one.
No, totally. I think the one that takes the cake is the fall finale of the 4th season, when everything came to a climax with the mob and the wedding. And so Will Halstead, I didn't even step foot in the hospital once this episode, which was just a fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
I was, I'm getting ready for the wedding, and then I get obtained in this boatyard, and then I drill through the guy's head, right? And then I'm in a tux the entire time that's getting bloodied. And then my life is threatened, and then I'm hauled away to protective custody before I say one last goodbye to Natalie at the altar. That's been waiting all day.
And you get blood all over her dress, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's an epic episode. Come on.
It really is. It really is so great.
I mean, it worked because there was so much leading up to it, of course. But
absolutely.
Yeah, as a standalone episode, that's definitely one of my favorites.
For sure. We have a lot of questions about Natalie, of course, because people love together.
Of course.
And now, of course, he's moved on. She seems to be maybe moving on next season. What are your thoughts on them? Do you think that they ultimately belong together in the end?
If they go to counseling.
Yeah, a lot of counseling.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, listen, I guess the real question is, do you want characters to change in your television shows? Is something that makes me think about, because, if we didn't have any issues, there would be no conflict, right? And conflict makes up drama. Mm-hmm. So do we want them to figure everything out? Would Chicago Med be Chicago Med if all the characters, maybe therapy isn't a great idea. They should in the real world, but they're not going to. But it wasn't the right time regardless for him, for sure.
Right.
Whether they figure certain things out on their own or not, it's not, that'll remain to be seen.
Of course. A lot of people are asking, let me see, I saw this one a couple of times. Who are you closest to on set, actor-wise?
It was Tori, because we've been working together mostly. Although I've worked with Oliver Platt a lot this past season, and we've become fast friends over the course of the show. But yeah, him and I have been working together a good amount, and yeah, and Dr. Asher is who I've been predominantly with, and
Right.
Jesse Schramm is a lovely human being,
Mm-hmm.
and great to work with, and um, I don't know what's to come with all of that, though. We'll see.
What do you think of Will and Asher? Or people are saying, I guess they're making up a name for you guys. Washer is what I'm saying.
Washer.
Not a great, not a great
It's like
one.
Whacker Drive. That's hilarious.
Not a great name, but what do you think of them?
I think this storyline that brought them together I was very grateful to be a part of this opioid, um, uh, and Will giving her a second chance. I think is so true to Will. Obviously, he has feelings for her, but I think if as long as things are going well, there's no reason they shouldn't be together. Of course, part of recovery is relapsing, and so perhaps that will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Although maybe I don't doubt that it's very difficult given the nature of the relationship of how it started, and could there potentially be trust issues, and we left off on Will coming around and saying, hey, listen, if this is what you're telling me happened, it's what happened. Well, we'll see how long. I think they're good together right now. I really do, and I think it's wonderful that Will has given her a second chance.
Yeah, definitely.
And so far, it's proven to be worthwhile. And he's sticking up the way he sticks up for her with the colleagues, and there's some important stuff to take away from there, and how you can sort of judge a person based on the experience.
For sure, absolutely. Yeah. A lot of people are wanting more scenes with you and Jesse, your on-screen brother.
So do I.
Do you guys like working together? Like, you have fun on set together?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we've. I mean, unfortunately, we haven't worked together in a while, and we've always had a good time. It started with Jesse. Mm-hmm. My character started with him. And so he was the first person I met, and has been a great friend throughout mm-hmm. the entire time working here, and giving me a lot of great advice, and yeah.
What of the Chicago shows, or really any of the Wolf shows, would you want to go over, or which ones did you like going over on as much? Because I know you've dabbled in a few of them.
Yeah, I've been on both of them quite a bit. Oh, yeah. I've enjoyed both of them a good amount. Of course, I think like the first storyline I had on PD, it was like I was doing the surgery on that kid on the table, right. And there's people coming to murder this dude, and just the energy around that of being in the world of the PD seemed really high energy, and uh-huh. And I'll never forget that scene as it just being the beginning of everything, but also what it like, I guess, inspired me to do as an actor, as far as how I had to work. And Met is, of course, we have high stakes all the time as well. Just it is fun to go and play in these other arenas, just for the people, of course. But then there was one episode I'm thinking of on PD, I think for the crossover, where Will finds out that Jay's in the building where the gentleman that had taken this virus and was spreading it, and Jay's life is in danger, and so he follows Voight and saying, I'm coming in there. He gives them medical supplies, anything that you need, and finds out that Jay's in there, and so he runs in there, and then Will happened to be a part of with moving as a unit with the other as they're casing out the place. It was just something that was just. I mean, it's my favorite part of the job, these crossovers, right? And it's what makes
Right.
this universe so unique. And what I hear from the fans all the time, by the way, thank you everybody who watches and continues to watch. You keep us employed, and it's all for you, and we wouldn't be here without you. And it's really, thank you so much. I'll never stop thanking you. And I'm so glad that when people come up and express positive thoughts about the show, I've never heard, anything negative, and it's such a great thing to be, especially in Chicago. But I hear from fans all the time, the crossovers are their favorite parts of the of the universe, and it is. It's art imitating life, and it's never been done, and it's what makes it so special.
Definitely. I feel like it's like a family reunion every time there's a crossover episode, because it's I'm seeing all my favorite aunts and uncles all together.
And unfortunately, because the schedules are so crazy and sometimes very different, PD will be shooting at night sometimes and we'll be during the day. If we wanted to get together, we do want to get together, but the schedules don't allow it sometimes. So the crossovers serve as the only time we get to see one another sometimes. So
we have a lot of questions, and I actually got a lot of questions on social media also about what you've learned from playing a doctor. Now, I got to go on set, so I got to experience how little you know about being a real doctor, and how little all the actors know. But you guys have such a great team behind the scenes teaching you. So what can you kind of tell the viewers about that? Because I feel like that's something really interesting.
Yeah, so we have a medical advisor on set all the time. It started with one, and then we got another one that's been with us the bulk of the time, and they both still help out. One more in the OR, and one mostly in the emergency department. If we didn't have a medical advisor, we would not be able to do. I don't think the show would be as close to reality as we can get it, as we are, and we do try and do our best to keep it authentic. But and so, anyways, as far as how I use that resource, every time I get a script, I call. Her name is Bobbin Bergstrom. I call her up, or Andy Dennis is the other gentleman's name. He works at Cook County. He's a trauma surgeon, and at the very beginning, I would follow him around and just shadow him, just to observe. And basically, what I would use that resource for is physical behavior and like social interactions. I was not trying to learn all the terminology and get bogged down in that. Very much it's the physicality and how these doctors interact, and how are they when they're in front of a patient, and then sort of the public and private worlds that you're playing with in front of patients, and then when you're speaking to a doctor, and just the tone changes and all those little details. But when I get a script, I don't like to know what's coming up in the script. So when I read a script for the first time, it's a strong impression, and it's kind of a delicate part of the process as far as I hone in on that first read, and I write down all my initial impressions. Mm-hmm. And whatever I can't do medically, as far as the research that I do on my own before, I will find with the advisor, and I'll also verify all that stuff as well. But it's sort of like I score the script and say, okay, I break it down almost in a way that some people may find interesting, as where I need to know where my focus would be as soon as I walk in the room. Like, is it on the monitor? Is it on the patient? And I need to obviously understand everything that I'm saying, so that doctors, I when they're explaining something, and even if it's in layman's terms, they'll sort of this brain injury that you have, and their hand will go up and kind of just do something up there. And I noticed that they're trying to do something visually for someone to help what it is they're saying verbally. And so obviously it's imperative to know what I'm saying. Yeah. But then I would also say, so how would I sort of do all these things of the focus, and and I don't know if that's interesting for people to understand that part of the process.
The details come out in the show. So I said, I get a lot of questions about like the behind the scenes stuff. People like to know that, because there's realistic things. People watch the show and they notice those little things and what you're looking at when you walk in the room, things like that.
Yeah, and of course, how do I use these props that we're using? I will often say to Bobbin, again, the on-set medical advisor, hey, would you show me how you would go up and do this? And then I'd watch. And sometimes I take little videos just to remind myself if we're doing, like we do medical rehearsals too. Oh yeah, that's if there's things, we don't do them so much anymore unless it's brand new. Like Will Halstead was in the OR in the last, I think like maybe the second to last episode with Dr. Asher, where they lose that patient. And it was like a tough day, and she says, I need to go to a meeting, and he drives her there. I had not been in the OR in a very long time, which was very fun to do, and have the mask and all that stuff.
Right.
And so it's such a different skill set working in the OR, by the way. You just have this. I mean, very much so like how we're living today, right?
Yeah.
You just have your eyes and your body and the tone of your voice, and what that forces me as an actor, what I need to use to tell the story differently. So it was a good challenge to go in the OR after playing, in the ED. But yes, the props are a main part of it, like these objects that that we use every single day, and I need to show that I am not thinking about it at all. So I have to rehearse that stuff over and over and over, and usually when I know that it is a foreign language, by the way, this medical terminology, and so I treat it as such, like if I was learning Spanish or something like that. I really
cards at home.
I don't make flashcards, but I do repeat it. First off, I have to know what it is I'm saying before I even start memorizing it. So I won't start memorizing anything until I understand what it is.
Makes sense, for sure. How has it been since you guys have wrapped? You guys obviously had to wrap a little bit early. Have you been texting people? Have you guys all been in touch from the show?
Yeah, I have been in touch with a few of them. Yeah, we were supposed to finish we had 3 more episodes left, and we ended at the right time because there was a case at the studios, which have you heard that there was a Fox show that we heard about, and then a week later we were out of there, and I was really it was important that we did because everyone's safe on all of our shows. Nobody is infected at this point, and no one has lost their lives, thankfully.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, a lot of people that normally leave because they have places elsewhere are stuck in Chicago, and I've been interacting with Jesse, Chicago Med had a little Zoom session the other day. Now, not everyone's in Chicago from my show, but it was nice to see everybody, and we caught up because basically there's no news. We don't know anything at this point of when we'll come back. I've caught up with our showrunners, and they're not writing anything at this point. They said we're not sure when we'll start, let alone where in the storyline we'll move forward. We'll start. So there's a lot that's being figured out still, but
everyone's safety is first, so that's the most important, obviously.
Totally.
What do you miss the most about going to work every day when you're home?
The stimulation of the work, of course. I mean, I love what I do, and literally my work is an escape. It's an escape in just general, but I'm literally going into a pretend world. So, if I'm having a bad day, whatever, or if I'm going up and down just in general, emotionally, the work is a good outlet for that type of thing right now. And that's why I think, like, isolation, I do think isolation brings out a certain creativity in everybody. You sort of you spark your inner creativity, but it can also amplify things you're not dealing with. So while I'll use work as an escape, it's right now there's no escaping. I mean, you set up, you watch something on TV, you binge it for a little bit, you read a book, whatever you're doing. I've actually been trying to maintain a structure. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I mean, that's what you miss, sort of like a structure. You feel like you have a purpose going and into work and doing something. Of course, I enjoy everyone I work with, and so.
The plus.
Yeah, totally. I mean, if I was an introvert, I don't know if I would. I mean, I know there are introverts that are actors, but for me, I feed off of energy from everybody, and that is stimulating, and you know, we're even if you are an introvert, there's certain times where you need social interaction. That's just the nature of human beings. But the structure is the biggest thing. And I was watching or I read an article that, you know, astronauts were giving tips and advice about isolation. And, you know, of course, they're very good at it. And they said structure's everything. Maintain, you know, a good diet, stay physically active, keep your workout up, and sleep is, of course, is important. And that's challenging. That's so challenging. But all of that, if it's not adhered to, I guess you could feel a little, you're not grounded, I guess. And so my wife is working from home. I try and stay on the schedule she has, just so we're also not, I'm not being nocturnal and she's, you know, we're not on opposite schedules. There's just no need for that. Yeah. Although if I will say I stayed up to 7 a.m. one night because I had this creative urge. And I'm like, I love music. I think I'm sure people probably know this, that I love music. I have this side hobby passion, and I'm figuring out ways. You know, I like to, you know, I put like a little funny ditty out there of just a coronavirus, but I'm really learning this skill of recording.
Of course.
Right now.
Yeah.
And so I stayed up to like 7 a.m. one night because I was recording this song, and I was like, wow. But there's something about the nighttime when there's no distractions of any sort, that everything is just so quiet, and it, you know, maybe for an artist, a lot of artists thrive in the nighttime and are most creative. Because of that, it's just, I don't know. Maybe you feel less vulnerable.
I was going to ask you kind of what you're doing every day to make you smile. We've been asking everyone, but I kind of guessed for you maybe it has to do with music, because we see on your social media that that's something that you really love. Yeah,
I urge anybody, if they have any desire to learn an instrument, do so. I mean, you can on YouTube so easily. I guess if you don't have the instrument right now, that may be difficult to obtain one. But if you have one sitting around that you haven't, pick it up. Or there's just something about music, especially like a guitar, you can feel like the vibration against you, or even a ukulele is just so soothing. And but yeah, there's just something powerful about music that's for me has been very therapeutic.
For sure, absolutely. Yeah. Before we go, I want to make sure, because I know there are a lot of people on here also who are saying that they got into the medical field because they saw Chicago Med, which always
that's amazing.
And obviously we need to shout out to the amazing real medical doctors that are being heroes right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's so important. What is the first thing you want to do when the quarantine is over?
I want to see my family back in Ohio, and I want to get together with friends and family, and those will probably be two separate occasions. I expressed to the cast and a lot of the people that I work with that because we weren't able to have a wrap party, you know, with our crew and everything, and we weren't able to, you know, we had this crazy year of 100 episodes, and then we got this phenomenal 3-season pickup order, and then we had to shut down, and so the ending to our season was really anticlimactic. And what we normally do to celebrate a bunch of good work over the season, we didn't get to. So I think, and even the 3-season show pickup, really I don't think we were able to actually all celebrate together. So I'm looking forward to being able to do that first and foremost in Chicago. And then I'll definitely take a trip to see my family and really indulge in that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining. I'm so happy that you came on, and the fans are very, very excited. There are people from all over the world on here watching. So
that's fantastic. Yeah, thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Hope this is interesting.
Yes, for sure. Stay safe. Play some more music. Post some more videos we all want to watch.
Yeah, I'm going to be putting stuff up. I'm going to get creative with what I can do on social media. I'm sure most people know that I'm not the best with social media, but I am going to do better during this time period. And I'm challenging myself to be creative and using that to post. So we'll see what happens.
That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thank you all for watching. We will be back tomorrow night, same time, same place. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Emily.
Bye.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.